This is Attorney Marjorie Brunelli, and today, as promised, I'm going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of a domestic partnership. So, what rights do you get once you register and record in the county where you live a form establishing a domestic partnership? So basically, you're going to have visitation rights in case of hospitalization or incarceration of your partner. You also have right to name a pre-need guardian in case of incapacity. You have the ability to make funeral and burial decisions. You also have the ability to make medical decisions for each other. You have the right to be notified in case of an emergency. You can also receive medical benefits through your partner's employment. What else? It's way easier and cheaper to establish as well as to terminate. Generally, to terminate a domestic partnership, either you establish a new one, or you get married, or you fill out a form and record it the same way you did when you established. So it's way easier than filing for a divorce, which is a whole judicial process in the court system. Now, those are some of the benefits. As to the disadvantages, I guess, in comparing to a marriage. So because domestic partnership is not recognized at the federal level, you're not going to get certain benefits. For example, tax. You cannot file jointly. You cannot, most likely, you're not going to be able to claim each other as a dependent. If you receive health insurance benefits through your partner, sometimes, depending on the situation, it can be taxed as income to you, so you're going to have to pay taxes on that. If you're unable to file jointly, as married couples do, you're also going to have, you're going to end up paying higher taxes. As to certain benefits that married couples have, such as gift taxes, as well as estate taxes. You're not going to get those benefits in transfers. What else? Let me see. I made a list because it's a lot of information, so I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Inheritance rights. You're not going to have the same benefits because you're not a spouse. So if you want to provide for each other, most likely you're going to have to do estate planning. It's not automatic. It's not provided by the statute. Let's see what else. And then the other thing, you are not going to get the benefits that a spouse would get in the case of a divorce, such as alimony, spousal support. Florida provides different types of alimony. You don't have the right to any of that. Equitable distribution, among others. So one thing that you can do to avoid certain issues, because what happens when people establish a domestic partnership? They buy property together. Sometimes one person has better credit than the other, so the title and the documents are under one person's name, while the other person might be the one paying all the bills or contributing, but that person's name is not on the title to the property. Then they decide to part ways. Now what do? Because you're not married. So, and that's not only just for property. It's anything, investments, bank accounts, different items. And each case is different, so I always recommend you speak to an attorney. But one way to avoid issues in the future, in case you decide to go separate ways, is to prepare a cohabitation agreement. It's similar to a prenup or a postnup, but as the parties are not married, you know, it's a little bit different. It's simpler, but it can establish who is responsible for, I don't know, the house expenses, what happens in case you have property and you decide to move out, anything relating to bank accounts, investments, maybe retirement accounts, even inheritance. We can stipulate everything by agreement, and it's not going to be enforced in family law because it's not a divorce proceeding. Most likely you'll be enforced in civil court because it's a contract between the parties. But that's one way that you can prevent serious issues in the future. If you have any questions, I know it's a lot of information. Feel free to give me a call. All my information is above on the bio. And the number here is 954-474-7703. Thanks so much. Until the next video.